Champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins. Cause we've done this before, so you come on in. Make yourself at my home, tell me where you been. Pour yourself something cold, baby, cheers to this. Sometimes you gotta stay in, and you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we is. Sometimes you gotta stay in. Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go out. Welcome to my house. Play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go out. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Morning comes and you know that you wanna stay. Close the blinds, let's pretend that the time has changed. Keep our clothes on the floor, open up champagne. Let's continue tonight, come on, celebrate. That's how we do. Sometimes you gotta stay in.
And 2 back row. So pretty standard opening. Let's see how Saki responds here. So Saku also procs skill, grabs Roxor's Dragon. Likely gonna grab a shoot here, and Bottomless comes out from Sarxera. Yeah. Sarxera, yeah. The Basil Road shoot is still gonna be added. And yeah, end phase Basil Road shoot activates, brings back Roxor's Dragon, likely gonna grab Blue Rose for follow-up now. Now he'll be able to proc his skill here, grab a White Rose if he wants it, or he can just summon Blue Rose either way. But since there is the extra monster zone now, it seems like there isn't too much reason not to go for the skill here, although we'll see what he ends up doing. Of course, the other thing to keep in mind with this position is Yazi can obviously hop a back row and special summon a Yang Zing, provided he doesn't have it in hand. Looks like he will proc the skill, though. He is going to bring back Blue Rose, likely in attack mode, because he is on the offense right now. And he does. If Saku doesn't have anything here, then a Trish will likely come into play here, and that will likely wrap up the first game, but we'll see. Yep, so Trish coming out. Let's see what Saku has. White Rose does trigger, and Compulse gets chains. Now, this likely won't matter if he has a Ready Rose in hand, although I believe he didn't search one earlier, so we would need to have it in hand here. He does not have it, he just sets a back row. So Saku has an opportunity to counterattack, maybe with his own Trish. we know that the back row isn't necessarily Bowser will shoot, and MST comes out. That will likely be enough for Saku to OTK, provided he has enough resources in hand for a Trishula plus Carrot play. That MST being super huge right now, because Book would have been able to stop the Trish play from happening. We'll see if Saku has enough resources, though. He did lose his Rocks Rose earlier from Bottomless, so he doesn't necessarily have everything. He's thinking, though. So Saku activates the skill, sends a White Rose Dragon. Grab a Rocks Rose, most likely. He does. Rocks Rose Dragon activates to grab a Basil Rose Shoot. Unless his last two cards in hand are White Rose Dragon and the Ready Rose, there is no way he's going to be able to lethal him. And it looks like that's not the case. So Saku now goes into Black Rose Dragon. Is going to likely, he's going to White Rose Dragon and Black Rose Chain Link 2. So this will cause Yazi to miss timing here. So pretty good play on Saku's part, getting rid of that. And now Kara is going to be summoned by sending Ruddy Rose just for some damage. Both players now out of skills, I believe. Yes, confirmed that both players are out of skills, so now it's just a top deck war. Saku with the carrot, applying some pressure to the situation. If Saku could draw another monster, he's definitely going to be in the driver's seat. He already is to an extent with the carrot. And the Blue Rose gets summoned. Gonna have to stop the carrot here in order to survive. Still needs a monster. Now he can top deck a White Rose, because he does have Rocks Rose in Graveyard. That would be his best top deck. The question is, can he draw it? He can't get to it via the skill, so it has to be a hard draw, and he doesn't do anything. That will likely be the game, because, again, no one plays Kite Roid, and they can't now with Rocks Rose, so... and the Suwadi gets summoned anyway, so yeah, that's going to be a wrap for the first game. Saku taking it after looking like the Trish was going to wrap things up, but a clutch compulse takes the first game for Saku, allowing him to bounce back in the game. Alright, so Relentless going to a Mech Lord next. And he starts with an Obligado. So this will allow him to go into Gigant, Weisel, if he already doesn't have it, that is. And he can still skill for refine, or he can skill for the draw too if he wants it, but it looks like he is going to be satisfied without it. Goes for Gigantex. And he just grabs another Obligado. And sets 3 back row. Alright. So pretty good opening for the Mech Lord player. Has follow-up with the Obligado next turn. 3 back row obviously is going to be huge if 2 of them can play through a potential Lance. We did see MST earlier, so very likely that he's just going to be playing those instead of Lances, but it's still possible to see it. We only saw some of the text the first game, so a lot of them are still yet to be revealed. And uses the skill to send Rose Fairy. Now, Rose Fairy, surprisingly enough, did see some play in the last KC Cup, and now that there's the semi-limit to 2, there will likely be some more Rose Fairy lists. The reason people have been playing Rose Fairy in the main deck is just because if you open with Ruddy Rose, you can't use the effect unless there is a level 3 in the deck to change the position of. Like, you could either put it to the top or bottom of the deck. So essentially by playing it, you're allowing Ruddy Rose to search for Witch of the Black Rose. But if you don't have that target to begin with, then you're unable to do it. So you'd have to proc the skill first, and then you could do it, but maybe you don't have the hand to do it. Here, Sarksaria uses Bottomless Trap Hole on Witch of the Black Rose here. And yeah, this is a pretty good position still, because now he can be on the offensive here. He could potentially, I don't think Saku's going to allow it, but he might try and go for the level 10 by killing Rose Fairy in battle. He does just grab a Weisel here in case Saku decides to go for Rose later, or if he tries to destroy his own card to summon it. Obligado here does get summoned. Saku does have 3 back row though, so we'll see if Saku responds to it. Saku does allow it, and so Obligado will summon 2 more Mech Lords here. Saku is going to go for, Xaria is going to go for the Dreadnoid. Saku allows the Exceed to happen is what I meant to say. Likely is going to book the Dreadnoid now, or he's going to Compulse, that works too. Just because if Dreadnoid was face up on the field, it could protect itself, so either Compulse or Book would have been able to help. Compulse obviously being better just because it just gets rid of it off the field, although Book can also help because if you go Black Rose Dragon, then you can clear it while it's face down and it can't protect itself. Luxuria in a pretty good position right now, though. Still has 3 back row. Saku is going to end phase MST here. Unless Saku top decked a Roxor's Dragon, it looks like Saku is kind of struggling for resources right now. He is going to skill again here. And he did top deck a Roxor's Dragon. Okay, so he does potentially have a chance here if he has a Lance. Although we haven't seen it yet, we've just seen MST. White Rose is going to summon Rox Rose. Probably going to search a Basil Rose shoot here. As he's used both skills, so at this point, he just wants to conserve his Rox Rose if he can. Book of Moon does get activated by toggling on, waiting to see what Rox Rose searched, and then used Book of Moon. And Saku is likely not going to be able to do too much other than that. He just sets 2 back row. Keep in mind that Sarxarius still hasn't used his skill yet. He's had Obligato both times, and well, he had Obligato in the starting hand and he searched it. So Sarxarius still has 2 skills left. And he will likely look to proc one this turn. Maybe to apply pressure with the Triskelion. He does send Weisel. He's good to grab Assembly. Interesting that he's going to go with the Assembly first. But maybe seeing kind of what he has. Or seeing something out because his position still is winning. Okay, the first time he has to add a smaller chop, that's why. Makes sense. I actually didn't realize how the skill worked, but yes. So he was forced to go Assembly the first time. Fortunately for him, Saku did not respond with MST, because if he did, then Assembly would have caused him to not be able to search, since it was a continuous effect, so it would have had to resolve face up on the field. And now Triskelion will likely be summoned here. Yep. He does summon it. The Floodgate gets responded to it, so very good use of Floodgate. So interesting, we've seen that Saku has both Compulse and Floodgate. Some lists have been playing both of them. So we haven't seen Lance yet, but we have seen a mixture of limited 3 cards. And Saku top decks the Suwani here, so if he's able to go for the Synchro, then that would be a really good position for him, but Sarxaria not wanting him to do it, chains Book of Moon on this, or not chains Book of Moon, but activates Book of Moon in response to the summon. But again, keep in mind that Sarxaria still has another skill here, so he can go for another Triskelion if he wants it. The question is, does he have a Mech Lord card to use the skill? He does not, so he's going to pass his turn, and now Saku looking to, well, passing his turn after he kills the Suwani. Trying to keep the Roxrose face up on the field so he doesn't give him any extra sort of resources off of Basil Rose Shoot, which is the last set card. Now Saku has another set card here. This is an interesting position because, again, the Mechlord player is on the aggressive here, but if Saku has enough defense here, then Saku can definitely come back and win this. Saku kind of just waiting to see if he's able to make a play. He has no rush with trying to make one, because if Soxera ever attacks the Roxrose Dragon, he will make the Basil Rose Shoot a lot stronger, just because then it can bring back Roxrose, and then he can search a monster for follow-up, which will ensure that he has a level 7 Synchro. So Soxera just making sure that he doesn't give him that. And Saku does activate MST here, which likely means he did top deck at level 4 here and is wanting to make a play. A Needle Ceiling being set from Soxera. Very interesting. And not a level 4, but a Roxrose Dragon, so either way, he is going to be able to get a level 7 Synchro here. That should be game, because with the Roxrose Dragon set, as long as he should have another Basil Rose Shoot. He could summon level 4, go into Black Rose, not use the effects, just send Carrot. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to though. Then flip his other Roxrose, make Ruddy Rose, banish everything, pop the fields, and then his Basil Rose Shoot will give him back his last monster for the game. That is likely what he's going to do now. But we'll see if that is what ends up happening. So he does Basil Rose Shoot. He has the one in hand, so he will likely look to set it. Yeah, and this is exactly the play he's going to go for now. Mechlords, unfortunately, given their circumstances for this skill, they can't protect themselves with hand traps. So this is why this play is so powerful against them. Same with the Trishula 0. They're both game enders if you can resolve it. And just as mentioned, Ruddy Rose gets summoned, pops the field, Basil Rose Shoot. Can bring back any monster, doesn't matter what it is. We'll bring back an extra monster to attack for game. And Saku takes the lead 2-0 against Relentless. So we'll see what Relentless brings in to counter this Black Rose. Very likely going to be seen in Mirror. But maybe Relentless has prepared something quote-unquote special for this deck. You will see. Only problem right now is I don't think there really is anything extremely special, especially with the nerf to the main hero variations with Liquid to 2. But we might be seeing some deck with Stygian Dirges. It is going to be another Mech Lord. Maybe this one more catered to Black Rose techs. Maybe having some Stygian Dirges. But we'll see. Saku starting off. Doesn't have the ideal open with the skill, but still is likely going to go level 7 synchro plus 2 to 3 back row here. If he can get Yazi 2 to 3 back row, that would be ideal. It looks like he is just going to be satisfied with setting 3 and passing. He does have the blue rose for follow-up next turn. And the thing is, if Puni Puni cannot apply enough pressure, then Saku might be able to go for Trish plus Carrot OTK later on. So Puni Puni does use skill for the assembly, and Saku allows it to happen. So likely no MST, or he was just wanting to save MST for one of the back row. We'll see what it was later on. Obligato does get summoned here. And Saku allows it. Obligato now uses his effect to summon 2 Mech Lord monsters. Saku likely gonna allow this because he would have probably booked the Obligato if he didn't want him to exceed. Maybe he has a compulse set. We know one of them is Basil Rose shoot for, or actually no, we don't necessarily know that. Because he searched blue last turn. The Book of Moon does get chained in, again, gets used in response to the Gigants. So no searches. And Basil Rose Shoot does get activated here to summon the White Rose. So Saku trying to nuke the field here and go into a follow-up Synchro plus Carrot play. If he is able to get that off, then that would be great. But Stygian Dirge does get flipped up. And if Saku doesn't have the MST, and Saku top decks the MST. I was just about to say, if Saku doesn't have the MST, this could be problematic, but he top decks it. And now Black Rose into follow-up skill is going to be the game. Let's see if he ends up going for it. That's insane. He is just gonna go Yazi. Okay, so he decided to not go Rose here, but again, it doesn't matter. The same thing will happen. The only difference now is Yazi's just gonna hit the back row. He's gonna summon the level 4 Yang Zing, then the skill is gonna activate so he can get white. White brings back Rox Rose searches, likely Basil Rose shoots. No, actually, he would search Ruddy Rose, and then he'd go into Trish plus Carrot. So that's likely what's gonna happen. So Saku does have lethal here. It's just Rose would have been, I mean, We all like a field nuke. So I mean, I would have liked to see the field nuke way, but I mean, it doesn't matter how he does it. He's not. He doesn't even have to go into Trish 0. It looks like he might just go into a level 7 and miss attack. Okay, he's gonna go into Meteor Burst Dragon. Yeah, again, it doesn't really matter how he does it. He had lethal a bunch of ways. So. So Relentless likely going to repeat this, just because we did see Black Rose catered counters of the Stygian Dirge. Unfortunately for Puni, Saku did top deck the MST at the right moment, and will likely cause them to dig into their first repeat here. And it looks like that's going to happen. So Mechlord Refinements, grabbing the Assembly, is likely going to search the Obligato here if he doesn't already have it. And so now he's likely going to go into Gigant, grab Weisel. And we'll see if Puni is interested with going turn 1 Weisel. Some Mechlord players do prefer summoning Weisel against Black Rose just because it can negate a bunch of spells. But we'll see if Puni is even interested in doing that. We might just see a Gigant with 2 back row. Puni did hard draw the Boon of the Mechlord Emperor, though, so he will get 2 more cards to work with. So very likely that he has 2 good back rows here. But if he has Stygian Dirge, it's probably a good idea to summon the Weisel, just because then if he has Dirge, then he can negate any MST that comes his way. Obviously, the downside with that play is if they go Book, then they can MST it afterwards. But again, they would need a few cards to break that board. So we'll see if Puni's interested in going for it. He's just going to search an Obligato here and set 2 back row. Okay. I'm not interested in the turn 1 Weisel here. Saku is going to activate the effects. Rose Dragon. Okay, so he gets his ideal skill. White Rose is going to summon Roxrose back from the graveyard. We'll likely see a Basil Rose shoot get added because it's very likely that he has a follow-up. Yeah, so he searches Basil Rose shoot. Does Puni have a response? He activates Stygian Dirge. Does Saku have the MST again? Yes, he does. Once again, Puni had the Dirge, but Saku had the MST. And that just goes to show you that if you try and counter Black Rose, they usually have the counter for it. They can play a lot of counters. So very unlucky for Puni. This will likely be a good position for Saku now. The one good thing for Punkie is I don't think Saku has enough firepower to OTK right here. He could potentially if he has Squire Saga, actually. But he would also need to have the Ruddy Rose in hand. So, an unlikely scenario, but... Okay, so Saku's just gonna go for a Black Rose nuke here. Whenever you see a set card before a Synchro, it's just because he's wanting to nuke his Basil Rose shoot here. So White Rose sending Carrot, Black Rose chaining, and Chain Link 2 to nuke the field. So now if Saku's able to bring back the Carrot, that will be game. You don't know if he has Ruddy Rose in hand or not because he did search Basil Rose shoot. And he does have Ruddy Rose in hand. Carrot is going to activate. Oh, Rose Fairy. Okay, yeah. Either way, he had the plant monster in hand. Carrot gets summoned, and Saku destroys the counter and gives BMP a 4-0 lead. That's crazy. Saku showing off his KC icon, showing he was a top 100 player for this KC. And yeah, I mean, Saku just going insane right now. 4-0 lead for BNP. BNP in a position, given their record, where they can guarantee playoffs if they win every single game in their division. Already having a good look in this first game they have. Still a lot of game to play, though. We'll see if any of KSH, Sip, or Bacon can get a reverse streak going for Relentless, but a very strong start for BNP. The Relentless trying to figure out what to send in next. We did see Mechlord with Stygian Dirge fall short both times to an MST into an OTK. And Relentless maybe showing that they weren't too satisfied with Saku having the MST to the Dirge here. But in any case, going into the game here, we'll see what Relentless decides to bring for them. And likely gonna be again Dora out of Relentless here from KSH. You see Yugi Moto, so that usually means Andorra. Saku starts with proccing the skill, grabs a Rocks Rose Dragon. Likely going to see something similar to last time, where Saku will likely just go Rocks Rose set 3. The one thing that we have to keep in mind is that we did see Meteor Burst from Saku. So Saku will likely turn to that to try and to OTK. But obviously, if KSH has a white princess, then he can stop the OTK from happening, although Meteor will always force it out. But Saku's starting with a turn 1 Zeta. Again, that's the other thing we were likely going to see here. The reason Zeta is more powerful in this matchup is just because if they go Gandora to try, if they go Giga Rays in particular to try and go for the OTK, they obviously can't. Because if they put it in attack mode, then Zeta can change or can respond to it by banishing it and Zeta. It is KSH thinking here. KSH thinking for a long time here, so maybe considering a potential OTK line, and and KSH does exactly that. Goes immediately for the Giga Rays in defense modes. Very interesting. He allows the summon and is going to proc Determination to fight here. He's going to use the effect, and Saku changed MST to his Basil Rose shoot here. MST seems to be glued to Saku's hands, because we've seen it the last few games. And if KSH does have a way to make a rank 8 here, then he will take this game. So, I mean, if he has a green, red, or yellow gadget, then that would be ideal. Or even a Wyvern here would also do the trick. That is likely what KSH saw with the line, but we'll see if he does have that. If he does have it, though, then he can go into the Galaxy Eyes package and then just OTK Saku here. It's taking a while to think now, though, so I'm not sure if he does have that play or not. But if he does have a gadget or some way to search, then the rank 8 is definitely the play here. Have it. And that is not enough damage in NA math moments. Going all in just to not have enough damage. But unfortunately, as we see from the banish pile here, KSH did not have extra resources to make the rank 8, so he didn't have that option to begin with. But Saku now can just, can just grab Basil Rose, shoot, nuke the board, and bring back Black Rose. So that is going to be a 5th win for Saku here. And again, we'll see if Relentless tries to repeat this. I would be inclined to say that repeating isn't a good idea just because he has both Sphere and Kiteroid, but we've already seen that Saku has a Meteor Burst. And if he gets those hand traps instead of Kiteroid, then Saku can just instantly destroy him. So, interesting decision from Relentless to go with a list that loses to Meteor Burst in particular. But again, we probably didn't see White Princess. I mean, we know he probably plays that as well. But even so, playing some dead cards against the matchup. An interesting decision from Relentless, to say the least. So we'll see if they end up repeating it. It looks like they are going to repeat this. Very interesting. I guess they had no faith in their other deck, which I'm guessing was a Black Rose, but in any case. Relentless just not having too much faith in the Black Rose right now, trying to get it done with some counters. So far, haven't been having any success, but we'll see if Gandor is able to do it this time. So KSH starting with a heavy forward, grabs Anchor Drill, and Anchor Drill gets summoned to special summon Yellow Gadgets. So likely going to make a Gigant X here, and can search... it's likely going to search... He could search Kiteroid, but again, the problem is if he searches Kiteroids, he loses to Rose Nuke into Meteor Burst. So we'll see what he ends up grabbing here. He might just grab more resources. He does grab a box, so he's going to go for the resource game. And he grabs a box and an Infinite Track Trencher. Needs a particular hand OTK here, but it still is possible. We will see what Saku does. He is just going to go for a level 7 Synchro here, so... He is going to go for the Black Rose Dragon, so... Sends Carrot. He's going to Basil Rose Shoots. Bring back Rocks Rose. And Saku has the White Rose, so that is likely going to be an OTK. He's going to go for Meteor Burst here, and then Special Summon Carrot. Yep. And if KSH doesn't have a White Princess, that will be it. So he doesn't have the plant, but what he does have is the book. So I'm gonna flip Gigant down, then back up to reduce it to 0. And again, no particular hand trap in White Princess. That is going to be another game for Saku's 6-0 lead for Bricks and Potatoes. And that just really goes to show you the dominance Black Rose has after the balance changes. A lot of people, including myself, saw the changes and immediately concluded it was a tier 0 deck after those changes. And Black Rose showing just how dominant it can be. Completely decimating the two counters 2-0 apiece. And now Relentless has to really dig deep here if they're going to want to come back in this, but the damage already being done. There. Relentless is now out of repeats, and they still haven't taken Saku off the table yet, so we'll see what they can do, but yeah, I mean, this might be a very quick war. But we'll see. Relentless will have to start relying on their Black Roses. We'll see how many they have left. Sip is gonna come in here. Let's see what Sip is playing. Again, Relentless continuing the trend of just not going Black Rose. They're going another Mech Lord. And Saku's starting again with the Rocks Rose and likely 3-set, although if he has another Basil Rose shoot, we might see a level 7 Synchro here. White Rose Dragon does get summoned. And so likely going to see 3-set here from Saku if he's going to do this. Yazi does get summoned. Yazi the most popular choice against Mech Lord just because it's the only synchro that can't get sucked up by Weisel. And 3 backers set, so very good situation for Saku. We do obviously know one of them is Basil Rose shoots, but again, we know the other back row could be Compulse, Book, or we even saw Flood. Could even have an MST set, and we'll see if he does. Saku does have an MST and will respond to the assembly, so Sip won't be able to search here. And unless Sip has Obligato, his turn's going to come to a halt. He does have the Obligato, though. And is likely going to allow the Obligato to thin the deck again. Saku decides to book a Moon here. Maybe feeling his position was a bit more volatile, so he wanted to respond to things early. Basil Rose Shoot is going to be activated at the end phase to grab Rocks Rose Dragon, which will likely grab blue for follow-up. Again, the extra monster zone is just another reason why Black Rose just became a lot stronger. Because without the extra monster zone before, the Yazi would have been in one of those zones, and then they wouldn't have been able to go into an immediate proc for White Rose and the blue. So this extra addition just solidifies Black Rose as tier 0 right now. Not to mention that after the new world comes out, there's going to be another extra deck slot for Black Rose to use. And initially, that was given up to the level 9 Trish. But now they can play both the level 9 Trish and an extra level 7 Synchro. So Yazi is going to summon Suwani here. And Roxrose Dragon, yep. Again, similar thing's going to occur here. We can see a Black Rose nuke the field into White Rose, bring back Roxrose, search Ruddy Rose, and then go level 7 Synchro into Carrot for lethal, and that's probably what Saku's going to do. Unless Sip has Weisel here, which he doesn't. And yeah, that's just a wrap. Saku taking yet another game. He's on his way to potentially just soloing Relentless, but we'll see if that actually ends up happening or not. Saku probably just gonna go Meteor Burst here, even though it doesn't matter. And again, the reason why I say like it doesn't matter what he summons here is because Mech Lord's skill prevents them from using cards that aren't Mech Lords anyway, so there's zero chance for a hand trap. Instead, the other deck going Meteor Burst would be considered the optimal play, just in case they did have it. So Saku now up 7-0. And we'll see if Sip does have Black Rose in the back. Again, Relentless is at a repeat, so they won't be able to repeat this. We will see a mirror finally. Saku is going first in the mirror match, so again, very good situation for Saku if he has a pretty good hand here. Generally, going first in the mirror is what you want to happen, or what you want to have happen rather. So we know one of those cards is White Rose, which he's going to summon now. And he is going to go for a turn 1 Zeta against Sip here. Now, turn 1 Zeta means one of two things. It either means that Saku doesn't have a lot of good back row, which is likely the case because we know one of them's Basil Road shoots. The other case just being that he hard drew his Yang Zing. But seeing the MST, we now know it was the former case where just Saku's back row wasn't the best, so he went with Zeta for the defensive play. Is going to MST a Floodgate at the end phase, and then Basil Rose shoot, bring back his Rox Rose. And again, Saku in a pretty good position, grabs blue so that he has guaranteed follow-up for next turn. We know that Saku is going to be looking to do that Trish play here. He goes for a special summon of White Rose Dragon. Pretty good, seeing as how we know he has follow-up for his third White Rose if he wants it. So Saku likely just going to go for a Black Rose here. But Sip uses Floodgate in response. So not allowing it. At this point for Saku, he's probably just going to go for another level 7 Synchro to help beat down. Just because he doesn't have the resources to OTK, I'm pretty sure. But if he has a back row here, it's still going to be pretty good, like as long as it's a live back row. Saku might be interested in just going for the attack on the monster and then attacking with Zeta and either Rocks, Rose, or Blue, whichever he doesn't attack with. That is one way he can get lethal, but of course, Saku may be feeling a delay from Sip, so he does have a back row, and he is going to go for the attack. There was no delay on that. Okay, there is a delay now, I think. Yeah, there is a delay on the second attack. Book of Moon flips down to Zeta. Does two things, obviously. First being prevents lethal, but also prevents Zeta from banishing anything on the field. So now Sip can do one final aggressive play, provided his card in hand is a level 4 or a Rocks Rose. But if he doesn't have it, then Saku gonna take an 8th game here, so we'll see what it is. MST on Floodgate is huge though, so if he does have a play, he will be able to at least get rid of that. So again, Sip does have the level 4 here, so he will be able to make a level 7 here. The one thing that is a little tricky about this position is the fact that he still has Rocks Rose. He has the set Zeta and then the blue. I think the play for Sip in this scenario is he just goes for the attack. That's interesting. I don't know if that was the correct play. I guess he has to crash Rocks Rose into Rocks Rose here. Or likewise crash into Blue. But actually no, Blue wouldn't make sense because he can bring back Carrot. So he has to crash into Rocks Rose if he wants to do anything. If he passes and allows the level 7 Synchro to occur, that's just going to be game, I think. Depending on what Saku draws, obviously. If Saku draws a Basil Rose, it's game. But otherwise, still having a level 7 is a huge momentum shifter. What I thought was going to happen was, I thought that Saku would have gone into Zeta, or not Zeta, into Yazi and attack over Rocks Rose. Because that would still leave the thing that's important about that play is Zeta can't do anything to Yazi in particular. And yeah, this is exactly why. If Sip decided to go for the level 7 Synchro, then he would have been in a pretty good spot. Unfortunately, because he decided not to go for that play, now he's in the top deck scenario, and Saku likely going to take this game. But yeah, I think he had to go for, and Saku now gets the Rocks Rose. Okay, so now it's over. But yeah, I think Sip had to go for Yazi there and attack into Rocks Rose. I think that was his only chance to survive. Still unfortunate that Saku top decked what he needed, but again, Saku had, with the Book of Moon, that would have stopped the Synchro from occurring, and then he still would have had Yazi. So he would have been able to stall out 2 turns potentially, and then depending on what he top decks is, I mean, that really comes down to, yeah, it really just comes down to what he top decks afterwards. But the point being is he still would have got there, but because he decided not to synchro, doesn't even give himself that option. So definitely a misplay, I would say, for that one. I wouldn't say it was a throw because he wasn't in the driver's seat, but definitely a misplay for sure from Sip. And again, Saku going 8-0. Relentless on their final player. So it's been a very quick war so far. Can imagine that the BNP people on voice chat are probably really happy right now with Saku's performance. But I mean, who wouldn't be when your teammate is soloing an entire team when playoffs are still on the line for you? So other mirror here. And again, Saku's going first, so I mean, it definitely hasn't helped Relentless that Saku has been getting the ideal start in the mirror, but at the same time, Saku just playing to perfection this whole war. So Rock's Rose does activate. There's a Basil Rose shoot here. And is going to set 3 pass. So Saku's setting himself up for next turn. Now, what Bacon should be trying to do, given this field, is he's going to want to try and Black Rose it. Just because in the mirror, what you want to do turn 2 is you want to try and equate with resources. Just because going first is typically the advantage, just because if you start with a level 7 synchro and chainable back row, then you can stop a lot of what the person does turn 2, and then you can continue applying pressure. So we'll see what Bacon ends up grabbing here. Probably a Basil Rose shoot, unless he already has one, in which case he might just grab another blue for follow-up. But likely going to grab a Basil Rose shoot here. He is going to grab a blue, so maybe he has 3 back row already. Book of Moon does get chained in response. Again, we set 2 back row and pass. So I'm guessing one of them has to be Basil Rose shoot if he added blue there. But even so, I feel like I would still go for it. But in any case, Saku summons the Suwani here, which, again, never ideal to hard draw the level 4 Yang Zing, but he is threatening a level 7 synchro here. taking a while to respond to this. He does floodgate the level 4 here. And again, we haven't seen Lance from Saku yet, so I'm thinking he doesn't have it. And White Rose does get revealed here. Does Bacon have another live back row? I'm thinking the other one is Basil Rose Shoot, so I think Saku is going to get his level 7 synchro here. Again, a reverse sweep from Relentless. Very improbable given how good BMP is, but I've seen some crazy things in Team Wars before, so we'll see what they can do. I hope for Relentless's sake that they do end up getting a game at some point, but given the specific board state right now, I'm guessing Saku is going to be in the driver's seat for the next little bit. Saku is going to level 7 synchro into a Zeta, and White Rose is going to send Carrot. Zeta again making more sense because we already saw that Saku hard drew his level 4 Yangzing Suwani. So there's not really a ton of reason to go to it. Yazi doesn't get as much value, so Zeta definitely being the more popular pick here. There's a lot of thinking going on. I don't know if that's a back row from Bacon or if Saku's just taking a while to think of his position and what to do here. Again, we know that Saku has Book of Moons, the Rocks Rose, so if he attacks it... Okay, Saku is going to Basil Rose Shoot here, bringing back his Rocks Rose most likely. Yep, and he grabs a Ruddy Rose Witch. So Saku going for another level 7 synchro here. He doesn't have lethal per se, but he will be in a pretty good position. He does go for the Black Rose. And Black Rose is going to use its second effect to just deal some damage here. Bacon allows all of it. Basil Rose Shoot is going to be activated in response. Now, if Bacon is able to Trish into Carrot OTK here, that would be really good for Relentless. But again, Saku's last back row isn't Basil Rose Shoot, or it doesn't have to be. Because we know that he activated it at end phase, and we know he activated the one he searched. So the back row could be anything. It could be another Basil Rose Shoot, which would be the best case scenario for Bacon. But if he doesn't have that, and it's a Book of Moon or a Compulse, then it's not going to be great. It could also be a Floodgate. That's another thing. Depending on Bacon's hand, he might be interested in, like, if he has 2 White Rose, he might be interested in special summoning the White Rose, trying to nuke the field, and then go into the level 7 plus Carrot OTK. But I don't know how good his hand is. He does just go right for White Rose here. Now again, the thing is, Trish would be really good here, but again, Trish wouldn't win the game because Zeta would still be able to respond to it unless Trish gets put in defense. Compulse does get activated in response, and wait. Balzarose shoots summoned a second blue here. That couldn't have been the right card he was trying to summon here. That just lost him the game. That was definitely a misplay. Dare I say it? This one for sure was a throw. All he needed to do was summon he needed to summon the Rocks Rose and then go into Trish. We knew he had Rocks Rose in hand because it got compulsed back, so don't know what happened there, but Saku taking a 9th game after an egregious Balzarose shoot into nothing. I can't believe that. I don't think he was low on time either. Like, I know there was a period of time where there was a lot of thinking going on, but I don't know if it was from the Relentless side or from the BNP side, but either way, there should have been enough time to summon Rocks Rose. I don't know. Anyway. Whatever the case may be, I don't think it was low on time, but yeah, I did not understand that play whatsoever. So Saku potentially gonna go for a 10-0 war and would effectively be player of the week automatically unless someone else does it against a team that's that's better, but I don't know. Certain though is yeah, I mean, Relentless was already in a must-win situation for the rest of the games if they want to make playoffs, and even if they for some reason come back 10-9 in this game, their RD is just shattered at this point. They're still -10 after everything if they win this somehow. So I don't know. Bacon is going to go with a turn one Zeta set 2 back row though. So again, not a terrible open. Again, kind of telegraphing that he doesn't have a bunch of Chainer Bolt back row here. So he just wants to make sure he doesn't die to a Trish. And Saku finally getting a hand that isn't ideal. Suwani with, 3 back row can still hold off Bacon for a bit. With Bacon not having the Yazi here, he's not able to start threatening plays, but again, you never want to see You never want to see Sawani in your opening hand. If Saku has 3 relevant back row here, he can definitely hold off this position. But otherwise, this isn't looking amazing for Saku this game. Book of Moon is activated in response to the carrot summon, making sure that there's no Black Rose shenanigans that can happen. Because again, if Bacon did have that, that would be the best play to go for, assuming he had a way to proc skill afterwards. And he did show the blue, so he definitely did have a way to proc it. Now, in this scenario, Black Rose obviously isn't as good. It would have been amazing if he got it off with the carrot, just because then he would have been able to follow it up with skill into White Rose. But now that he's summoned Blue Rose, the field nuke wouldn't be too impressive. So we'll see what Bacon decides to make here. I'm guessing Saku's gonna allow him, but we'll see. Saku does allow the synchro. And Bacon goes for a Yazi here. Is going to use Book of Moon on the Zeta. So if Saku is able to make a play next turn, then he might try and go into Trish here. Unfortunately for Saku, he does hit the Basil, which means that the other card is likely going to stop Saku, so the 10-0 dream might be over. But Saku can still 10-1 this war if that happens. And surprise, surprise, we're probably going to see another Black Rose from Saku. It's not looking too good with 2 back row. There's a lot of firepower that Bacon has, and MST is going to be activated as well. Compulse Chains to hit the Zeta most likely, yep. And unfortunately for Saku, he doesn't have a way to stop this. He was only able to stop 1 attack here. So Saku is going to lose his first deck, which means there's no 10-0 here. But I can say with almost 99% certainty that Saku's second deck is Black Rose here. So we're not done seeing Black Rose just yet. Interesting. So, I guess I was wrong. Saku actually gonna go for a hero variation. Likely Hero Alliance if I had to guess, but that's crazy. I wouldn't have guessed that. Interesting. Alright, so Saku going with some hero variation here. He's gonna grab the Poly. Saku makes a Sunrise, and so he's going to be able to grab a Miracle Fusion. Solid Soldier summoning Blazeman back here. And now Blazeman can use, well, if Blazeman could use both effects, then he'd be able to send a hero to the grave, and then he'd be able to Miracle if he wanted. But unfortunately, Blazeman is hard-coded to only use one effect, so he won't be able to do that. And Saku only has a Sunrise and a Blazeman. Bacon starts with 2 sets, 3 sets at that, and passes. So Saku seemed like he wasn't in a good spot if the skill got procced, but Bacon not having a great hand, it seems. And Saku is going to use Stratos to try and pop back row. This is definitely not ideal for Bacon. He needs a Compulse right now on the Sunrise to prevent as much from being popped. But we already know that the next play that's going to happen is going to be a Miracle into another Sunrise here. Saku threatening the 10-1 right now. Threatening to pop 2 back row. Bacon needs needs a response here.
Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house.
Allows the pops to happen. He hits Lant and Floodgates. And Miracle Fusion now comes out, and yeah, I don't see what card can save him here now, because a Treacherous would have been able to at least stop the 2 Sunrise if he had that. But again, no one would play Treacherous given that Rocks Rose is at 2 now. So, just trying to think of all the different outs he can have here, but I don't think he has enough to stop this. Saku with a brilliant 10-1 performance against Relentless. And BMP's RD is now through the roof with that. Crazy. Boca Moon is going to respond here, but again, it doesn't matter. There's 2 more attacks on their way. That is going to be the game. Incredible performance today. If BNP continues in that fashion, they have a really good chance for themselves to either just win all 3 and make playoffs guaranteed, or if they go 6-4, they're going to have some pretty good RD, provided they don't get destroyed in any of the other wars themselves. But I don't see that happening for BNP, so with the 10-1 today, BNP puts themselves in a really good spot for playoffs. And the BNP team probably couldn't be happier. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I don't think we're going to be getting an interview just because it was a wash. I don't think there's a ton to say. Black Rose does Black Rose things. Teams are going to be seeing this war and should fear that, like, if they were planning different counters for Black Rose, we've now seen that Black Rose can effectively nothing's safe against Black Rose, as we've seen. It took the mirror to take them out. So again, it was kind of unfortunate that they had the 2 MSTs, but in any case, damage was done. Both counters were gone, and that was it.